Hello, this is Kjell here, showing you the new features of ProAlbum-Designer 4.0. So after you bought it, you will be given a download link. On a Mac, the zip file will unpack automatically. Then you go into Photoshop. If you're on a Windows machine, you have to run Photoshop as administrator. Then you do File, Scripts, Browse, and find this unzipped folder and run the install.jsx file. You click on Install, Continue, and OK. And this will load the action file. What I want to do now is I just want to move it up to the top here, so I always have it at the top of my action palette. Right, so then I click on the About button, and then I enter my activation code. And then I restart Photoshop. And if you're on a Windows machine, you don't have to be administrator more than during the installation. So when you start Bridge, it might ask you a question whether you want to enable the new script called pad add, which you should answer yes to. If you hit Command K or Control K on a Windows machine under Startup Scripts, you should see this new script called pad add. Right. One of the first things you do is you click on Preferences and you select your album type here. I almost always use a universal 35 by 35 centimeter album, and then I'll use another tool called downres to downres my album to a particular album company. This way I keep it general. You might want to set up a spread folder. I think I have one set up here. This one, my book. And the rest we can leave. Okay, let's look at some of the new features. One of them being the new editor, which is this green area down here. You start it by clicking on the editor button, and it will open up a template for a square album, because that's what I selected in preferences. You can change that on the fly, but the important thing here is to be using the move tool, have auto select on, and even show transform controls is a good idea, because it will tell you what the currently selected layer is. Okay, the idea behind the editor is that you design your template in different passes. The first pass is just to get the right amount of holes and their how they're grouped together. So let's start with this one and split it vertically. So if I split this vertically, I will have obviously two holes adjacent to each other, and let's continue by splitting this one horizontally. And let's make this let's split this one vertically. And well, that's fine for now. So in the next pass, I'll decide what the aspect ratio of the holes is going to be. So let's make this hole here a horizontal landscape hole. If I want, I can always go back and say, well, I didn't want that aspect ratio, I wanted it to be square, or you can even enter your own aspect ratio here, but here's another way of doing 3:2. And let's make, you can select several holes by doing a drag, and let's make these two vertical holes. And let's pretend we want this hole on the left side to cover the entire left page. So there's a bleed button for that. And I want it to snap to the northern, the western, the southern, and the center. And well, I think that's fine for now. If you want, before you save this template, you can move it around if you wanted to. You can also go into template style and change the spacing or the margins, or you can see what this template would look like if it was for a vertical album. It would look like this. But I'm gonna go back to, well, actually, click square. I could also undo, of course, in the history palette. So we're fine with this, so I'll click Save Template, and as in previous versions, Save Template will analyze the geometry and the symmetry. It will say that we have 2 vertical holes, 1 horizontal hole, 1 square hole, and it will suggest a name for us. So I'll just have to click Save. Right, so let's test this. Just select some random photos here that will match this template. Because there was a square hole involved, I'll find this template under OK Matches. So here's my new template that I just built. So like before, the pictures will populate the different holes. Afterwards I can change the size of the photos inside, I can swap them around, etc. Okay, so the other feature I was going to show is making covers. There are now templates for the cover. Let's pretend I want to make a cover for a Saul album. Remember, on Saul albums, Foley albums, Sound Vision Art albums, you can have a photo printed on the entire cover. So what's new here now in 4.0 is that you have cover templates, right? So let's pick this one. Continue. It will open up this template, resize it to the cover for this album that you selected. Remember that the size of the document depends on how many spreads you had, but the software knows all that. So let me turn off the transform control. So if I wanted to, I could write some text on the spine here or write something here, but this is basically all you need to do. Let's take another one. Let's make a cover for this one. Let's make a thicker album, and this template here will have one hole that covers the entire back and front of the album. Right. Okay, so and then when I click on Save Cover, it will go to that spread folder that I selected previously in Preferences, and I'll hit Save. I had something there before, I'll just override it. And this will save a Photoshop file and a JPEG file. The JPEG file is the one that I upload to Spreadbook, for instance, and the Photoshop file is if I want to go back and make some changes. So those are some of the new features in ProAlbum-Designer 4.0. I hope you'll find it useful.